Hello, everyone. Welcome to my session here at PDS vConnect. Um, my name is Raymond Hesters. I'm a senior systems architect over at PDS. I've been with PDS now for a little over 11 years, working on the Microsoft aspect. This session is about Microsoft 365, Harness the Power. In this session, what I'm going to do is I separate it and I want to talk about getting more out of your license, right? You're paying for this. Let's see what else do you have? What else can you do with it? Let's talk about how can you have cost savings, some security, and next steps. So getting the most out of your license. So first thing here we have is going to be new features for existing apps. That means that apps that you have that you're using, and what's new? What can you have from it? First one is Microsoft Word. So some of the new features that are out in Microsoft 365 right now for Word are Dictate. So Dictate is that you can actually dictate it to like your phone or the laptop or whatnot, and it transcribes everything into the document on it. After you have the document created, then you can go into the editor. Now, with the editor feature, this is the graphic that I have set up in here. What it does is you tell it what type of document you have first. Right? Is it a formal writing? Is it casual? And then when you run it, it analyzes your document for that, either using different synonyms or antonyms, or um, gives you an actual score on it to help you have a better document. Then once your document is complete, you can go to the designer feature. And the designer feature then will give you some ideas like templates on how to make your document look better. Now, Microsoft Excel is the next one. So in Microsoft Excel, one of the things that they've added here is natural speech. So natural speech allows you to do queries just by typing in what you're looking for. So in this scenario, we have data table. And on the data table here, I wanted to know which individuals have over 1.5 million employees. And instead of me having to figure out what formula I wanted to do or what kind of combination, I just type that in and it gives me the result. If this is the result that I want, I can then click on Insert Pivot Chart. And it creates a pivot chart directly from the information that I wanted. The other feature that was added that's coming new is with personal views. So now I'm authoring documents in Excel. So then we have multiple people that are co-authoring this document. One of the problems is that when someone opens a document and they change it, as in they sort the table differently or highlight something or whatever, everyone sees that the next time because it saves it that way. Now with personal views, you can save that as your own view. That means you're the only one that sees it that way without then messing up some other people's work. Microsoft PowerPoint. So for PowerPoint, one of the ones that we have is Rehearse with Coach is a new one. So this is an example that I did. So when you do the Rehearse with Coach, it tells you how your pace is, tells you the originality, if you're using filler words, all of this stuff, even your tempo as far as what you're doing. So it helps you give a better presentation. The other feature that it has is subtitles. So the subtitles is directly interactive feature, meaning that as I speak, it's gonna create the subtitles in whatever language you want. So it automatically translates it. So this is an example that I did on Spanish, and this is how it will look. And it puts it like that. Teams. Well, we've been using Teams now since we've been at home with the COVID, and Microsoft has done a lot of new feature on it. Part of it is, of course, to compete with Zoom and Google and things like that, and to make it better for us. The first one is this. Now we can have up to 49 displays at the same time on the screen. Right. The next one is, okay, so one of the things that Microsoft was looking at is that they did research that even though we are all in teams and we can see each other, people were disconnected, and they felt disconnected because they were not in the same room together. So one of the things that they included is this together mode. The together mode creates a background that it makes it seem like we're in the same room. Of course, you can pick different ones, depends on where you're at. And even though that it seems kind of funny, being like that, it does actually have helped people feel a little more like they're part of it. Another feature that people have been asking for is breakout rooms. So breakout rooms, this is another example here of the Together one, by the way, a smaller one. So on breakout rooms, it allows you to create multiple rooms that you can either automatically or you can choose the users that you want to be in the groups. Then they can go work on their own, and at the end, you can bring them all back together into the same team and even share the information that they were working on, like whiteboards. Now, app highlights. All right, I wanted to do this here because one of the things is that we have a license, and there's a lot of applications that Microsoft includes, but we are not using some of them. So I wanted to highlight this for now. The first one is forms. Forms is it's like a survey. You can do surveys, you can do quizzes. It's a really easy way to get questions out there for the users and to get feedback right away. You created, I created this little one in here, what's your most favorite session during PDSB Connect? And I even gave you two choices, right? Office 365, Horizon the Power, or Raymond Hess for session. Pretty easy. So then I can look at the results. By the way, as we're doing this, if you have any questions or any of the stuff that we're talking about, or there's something you want to ask a question at the end, or want something more for later, please go in the chat, type your question in, and then at the end of this session, we'll talk about it. Then we have bookings. Bookings is another app that a lot of people are not using. This one is to be able to manage calendars for inside people or inside resources like rooms and stuff, or outside users. So that means that the outside users can come in here, they can log on, they don't need your Office login to do this, and they'll be able to see a screen like this. This is what's available. When they click on a date, they see the times available, and they can book their own appointment. Don't having to do this without calling in. After this is done, it actually saves right into the Outlook calendar and also goes to the individual that's supposed to do it. Sway. Sway is a way to do reports, presentations, training materials, and newsletters. Right. This brings information from your inside of the company, the internet, videos, graphics, text, whatever you want, really easy in one shot. And then you immediately share it with everyone or with whoever you want. You could do this publisher or Word, but this now brings a lot of those tools in the same place. And then Stream. Stream is a way to publish videos. You can upload videos, you can create videos. Actually, the presentation that you're seeing right now was recorded using Stream. I can record myself as well as my screen and then publish it out there and people can see it. Great way to do small training videos for the company. Now, as far as cost savings, there's a lot of different cost savings. Now, some of these is going to save you month to month. Some of these are going to save you costly repairs or because of security breaches or something like that. Multi-factor authentication is an easy one, right? That one will prevent from password attacks or anything like that. Then we have self-service password reset, right? Let's have the users reset their own passwords when they need to, instead of having to call the help desk and spend time doing that. Single sign-on. We can take actually the ADFS settings that we have right now, if you have ADFS, and load that right into the single sign-on within Azure. You can also do a lot of templates. They have thousands of templates out there for applications that immediately harness the power of Azure Active Directory. You can also move to Azure, right? We have Azure migration tools. We have the VMware solutions. We have file services, printing, phone system can go up there, and you can even use it as a DR site. Now, if you're already in Azure, you can turn off VMs when not in use. You can downsize VMs, right? We can do reports to find out if they're being used and what's not being used, so you can downsize it. And also reserve instances. Reserve instances allows you to essentially, if you're going to be using it for 1 or 3 years of VM, you can save up to 80% of the cost of actual VM in Azure by doing this. So it actually does quite a bit in there. And you can still pay monthly if you want, or pay ahead. Now for security. For security, we have things like alerts, right? This is like the basic line for alerts in security. So we set up alerts in Office 365, then we use Office Protect to be able to manage these alerts. Um, Office Protect is actually a third-party software that we use a lot. And what that one does is actually helps you set up the alerts, set up the notifications, and as it updates with new stuff, then you'll be up to date on everything that you can do without having to know, a lot of times we don't know what alerts to enable. So this helps us out. Secure Score, the Secure Score, another first line of defense, right? Tells you what you need, but more importantly, Microsoft updates is with new uh, action items for you to do. So you should look at it all the time and see, oh, look, now they're recommending to do this. Let me read why. When you select it, tells you why, and you can then at that point has a link to be able to enable it if you want. Conditional access is another one that a lot of people are not using. They're starting to now, which you can control access to Office 365, not just who, where, and where from, and what device, but you can even do it to individual applications. So if you don't want anyone to be able to access email from the Outlook web app from Illinois because you're not a Bears fan, well, then you can set up a conditional access to do that. Easy. Azure Sentinel brings the information from network devices. So now I take my network devices and I link them to this to be able to extract the logs from those throughout Azure in your environment. And then it combines it with all the logs from Azure Active Directory. And then it tells you when you've had attacks, like let's say that an email comes in and you don't know, it says, oh, this email's been trying to log on here, or this IP address is for, 1,000 times in my company. So then it gives you a history of that. And as well as tell you, oh, look, this IP has been already trying to do other tenants on 365. So then it helps you know what to do and helps Microsoft also be able to block those things. And we also have virtual desktop, right? Virtual desktops is a secure way to have a Windows 10 experience for your users, right? And they can access it from anything, phones, another Windows 10 device or whatnot, or a tablet or something like that. Easy way to scale up. And you can also take your remote desktop services workloads and migrate them right into virtual desktops and not have to manage those services in-house anymore. Now, next steps. We can do a license review, help you know where you're at and where can you be. We can migrate to Office 365, migrate to Azure, security health check. In the least, I would recommend that for everyone. You want to know a baseline of your security. Do you have it where Microsoft recommends you should be and where PDS has seen that you should be also for security? And then we can help you with MFA and SSO rollouts. Right. So for any of this stuff, please, if you're interested, contact your salesperson, email me. You can also go ahead and put it in the chat. We're working on doing a webinar coming up. So any of that stuff, if you're interested, let me know. We want to give you the information that is going to help you guys out. Hopefully, you start getting something out of this. And then now I'll be available as well as other people in case you have any questions. I'll look through the chat and we'll answer now. Thanks for joining.